Hey gang, today we're going to do a winning Santana lick. What I mean by that is the guitar intro to the song Winning by Santana. What's really good about it is that Santana's using a clean guitar sound, so you can hear all the techniques that he's using. You can hear it pretty clearly. So it's a good one to get under your belt. Hey, you can get the tab by clicking on the link that's in the description. Now we'll get on to the demo and then the lesson. All right, gang, let's go over this in some detail. First things first, I want to remind you that you can download the tab by clicking on the link in the description of the video. It's going to make your life a little bit easier. Okay, second thing I'd like to talk about is the sound. Keep it clean. I'm using a S-style guitar and I'm using position 2, but whatever, which is the bridge and middle pickup combination. Whatever you use, keep the guitar super clean and kind of trebly. All right, now let's talk about the chords, and then I'll do the whole thing slowly, and then we'll go through it line by line. So the chords are all in the key of D, and it kind of goes like this. There's that little drum intro. That's a D. Okay. And then we go in the D, B minor, E minor, A, and then G. That's a G, A, D, G, A, D. So all of those chords are in the key of D. Consequently, Santana's going to be using a combination of D major pentatonic and D minor pentatonic for this little solo intro. All right, let's do the whole thing kind of slowly now. Here we go. We're going to start it out here. On the second string, 10th fret is where we're going to start. All right, really way cool. What I love about Santana is he rarely overplays. He doesn't use too many notes, although he can use a lot of notes really quickly when he wants to, that's for sure. And then some of his lines just go on a lot longer than you think they're going to go, and I think that's part of the charm and also part of the difficulty of playing it. Let's go over now each line separately. Here's the first line. First line's a really simple line. Okay, we're playing out of the D major pentatonic position. Okay, home position, I should say, D major pentatonic home position. And we're second string, 10th fret. We're going to bend that up a whole step and give it a little wiggle, and then come down to 10, and then go directly to the third string, 9th, and play a whole step bend, the 9th, and then the 7th. It's very characteristic of Santana's play. He's not using a lot of notes here, and he's ending it very quickly on a staccato note at the end of that phrase. So he cuts it off really quickly at the end. So like this. All right, that's the first line. Here's the second line. It's a bit of a contrast to the first in that it goes on for a long time. There's a lot of little licks in this one. All right, the hardest thing to do on this one is remember what all the things are. So I try and do it in a couple of stages. The first is this, on the first two strings. that's pretty straightforward, just playing on the first string 7, 10, 7, 10. And then on the second string, we're bending the 10th up twice to kind of double this B note on the first string 7th fret, giving it some nice vibrato. And then we're setting up the rest of the licks by playing 10, 7. The rest of this line is really just playing around with these two notes right here and ending up on this note, then this note, and then a bend. I'll show you what I mean. You know, it's really just playing. That's the key phrase that you have to get. So it's 9, 7, and then a bend on 9, pull it back to 9, and then play 7 again. So it's just many of those in a row, basically. So what I love about that, and what's really also characteristic Santana, is he's using a phrase that a lot of people would have ended on, but just stringing many together. So listen to that phrase, try and get it into your memory. Use the tab as a helper on that one, and I think you'll eventually get it. Last line. Now the last line is very bluesy, and it shifts from major pentatonic to minor pentatonic, and sounds like this. Okay, if you don't know this trick yet, it's a good one to know. If you're on the bass of the major pentatonic, you're in a bass position. All right, you've got your fourth finger on the D right there on the 10th fret. The way to remember this, or a simple way to remember this, a nice little trick, and it's used here, is you just exchange your first finger for your fourth finger. So I'm going to move that up there and keep the same position. And if I play that same pattern, I now get a minor pentatonic over D. Kind of a nice little trick to know. It's not the only trick to know, but it's a nice little trick to know, okay? So he's playing out of this position, and it does give it a harder edged blues sound. So we're going to start with this. Now notice that note right there, I'm tweaking. So I'm aiming for this note right here, but not quite getting it. Okay, then and then this last phrase is a nice one to know. In this one, you'll notice that last note, again, he's tweaking it. This is what we call in the blues tweaking. We're playing a bend that's kind of not a half step bend, but a quarter step bend. So it doesn't quite get to this note. This is the note we're aiming for. If you notice, this is a D major chord, and this is a D minor. A lot of the blues plays around with, is it minor or is it major? And if you're playing over a major chord, a lot of times you can milk that by playing that tweak on that minor third, which in this case is this F, right? And you bend it toward this F sharp, but not quite get to it. Now in this particular instance, he gets pretty much all the way to that F sharp, but in many blues songs, you don't quite get to it. So just something to keep in mind. Here's that last lick again. All right. Well, there you go, gang. The guitar intro to the song Winning by Santana. Hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to the channel. All right, we'll see you on down the road.